wear them.
Other team.
Reported in the Chicago area as health officials continue to search for a cause.
I'm Harry Porterfield. Kathleen Rose Winter and Ella Chafee are on their way to the Olympics in Atlanta next month as members of the U.S. wheelchair fencing team. Their story coming up on Someone You Should Know.
Overcoming obstacles, the inspiring story of two wheelchair athletes from the Chicago area on Someone You Should Know.
And coming up in sports, Michael Jordan and the latest on the superstars' contract talks with the Bulls. Motorcycle rider Jerry Taft with a look at the weather.
And I haven't worn a helmet since 1966.
That's
But
your
you're nice.
not
Yes.
bad.
Thanks, Jerry. Don't get mad.
I'm not.
Just kidding. The work Olympic athletes have to do is just staggering. The Olympic athletes must overcome incredible physical and psychological limitations. And still, some have to try harder than that. Channel 7's Harry Porterfield is here with the story of two athletes and inspiration. Harry.
Diane, the subject of our profile, have distinguished themselves as Olympic-level athletes who have qualified to compete in Atlanta next month. They are the only two Chicago area members of the U.S. wheelchair fencing team. Their event will be part of the Paralympics, which will take place at the same time as the other Olympic activities. Despite personal obstacles, they made the team. That's why they are the subjects of Someone You Should Know. They don't call themselves gladiators, but in a sense, Kathleen Rose Winter and Ella Chafee represent a modern adaptation of a centuries-old Roman activity. Both will compete in next month's Paralympic fencing competition. They train at Fencing 2000.
It's just something that excites me. You know, Jean-Luc Picard in Star Trek, he and Riker would always fence, and I'd always like say, oh boy, you know, and now I can do that.
You don't just have to be aggressive, and you don't just have to be quick, you have to be smart. And being a little bit older, I'm not all that quick, but I've gotten smart over the years.
It's only been in this country approximately 4 years, although it's very popular in Europe, and it started with some of the top-level fencers that were injured and became wheelchair-bound.
Scoring is done through the foils, which are wired to a computer, which registers a point each time a valid touch is made. Stricken by polio at age 6, Ella Chafee is an inductee in the National Wheelchair Sports Hall of Fame and once broke a national record in swimming. Kathleen Winter is a world champion weightlifter, despite a history of 70 fractures because of her brittle bones.
There are children out there in wheelchairs that need to know that there's a whole realm of sports for kids with disabilities, that they can be real athletes.
Everybody has to see what their own limitations are, what their own challenges are, and then work to overcome them. Everybody has them, and I think that everybody needs to work on that. And so it's not just people in wheelchairs.
Kathleen Rose Winter and Ella Chafee, two Paralympic athletes you should know. Diane, Jim?
That's great. Thanks, Harry. Well, we have other sports coming up next. Baseball's superstar extravaganza, the All-Star Game. But will Frank Thomas play?